Hello, my name is Mark Senna, and I will be your professor this semester for BAIS 220, Management of Information Technology. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the syllabus and talking a little bit about what the requirements are and what to expect this semester, taking this online class, and also give you a little bit of an opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself. Um, so let's start by going through the syllabus. As I mentioned, my name is Mark Senna. I do have an office, a physical office in Smith Hall in room 203. Feel free to visit me. I do have office hours from 10 to 11 and 1 to 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Um, but being an online class, we also have a way to meet online. Google Hangouts is a tool kind of like FaceTime. So I have a link on the home page. For each module, you'll see that you can click on the Google Hangouts. I'd encourage you to email me first because I don't always just sit online in the Google Hangout waiting to see if anybody logs in. But if you email first, I'll be there waiting for you. And we'll have a FaceTime, maybe a little bit of an awkward moment while we're looking at each other's faces. But eventually, I'll talk to you and find out what's going on. And I will encourage you to email me. Um, a file of whatever you're working on, and we'll pull up that file and work through whatever problems that you're having together. So that's mainly what we do in office hours. Everything that we do through the class is going to be through Canvas, and you'll see that I have in a moment, I'll pull up the home page and walk you through kind of a typical week. We don't have any textbooks for the class. I do have these links as reference. I'm not going to be assigning any chapters or pages or assignments out of these books. They're just sort of one extra resource for you to use in addition to the videos that are going to be linked through the homepage of Canvas. So I'll let you read on your own the class description and objectives. We mainly focus on three main things in the class: um, Excel, Access, and computer programming using a computer programming tool that is embedded in Excel called VBA. We're also going to look at ethical issues. There's going to be a topic, a discussion topic that you're going to participate in, and then we do have a final project. So let me kind of go down those. In each week, we're going to have a tutorial like you're watching right now, except that throughout the semester, each module is going to have Excel and Access and other types of content. So we'll have 5 different assignments throughout the term. So when we have the tutorials, there'll be a file that accompanies those, and that'll be mostly blank in the beginning. Sometimes I have you download something that has some data on it, and then you'll have some instructions to complete and follow along with the YouTube video. And then you'll have assignments that you'll do that'll be similar to what we do in the tutorials, but you'll have to work on your own. Um, we'll have a skills tests that are timed. They're open books, so you can watch videos or pull up things that you've done in the past. The only issue is that because they're timed, if you try to learn everything during the test, or if you're not prepared for the test, then you will likely run out of time. So just a word of caution. I mentioned the ethical topics, so you have to post at least one message, a reflection, either a reply to something someone else has already posted or your own reflection on the topic. And then we'll have a final project in the last module during the last couple weeks of class where you're going to go out to Google. Google has a survey tool called Google Forms where you'll create a survey on a topic of your choosing, collect some data. Um, if you don't have time to collect data, you might just enter it yourself. But then you'll have an Excel file that you'll use to analyze the results. So the grade distribution, 93 to 100 is an A, kind of going down the line on a plus or minus basis, and then 60 to 70 is a D, and below 60 is an F. I tend to stick to these pretty closely. I have a pretty good idea what grades people fall into. Um, so anyway, during the class, things are going to be broken up into modules. So let me pull up the class homepage. So throughout the term, you'll have due dates. So the first module, everything in the first module is due by January 28th. I would encourage you to get started sooner. You don't want to do everything on the last day that everything is due because it does take some time to go through it. So when you get to the first module, you'll click on the tutorials and you'll see I have a number of embedded videos, a file for you to download, videos for you to watch and follow along with. It'll be useful for you to have two monitors, such as maybe an iPad where you're looking at my instructions and a computer where you're doing your work. Um, but it can be done with a single monitor. So after you go through the tutorials, you'll save the files, upload the tutorials to show that you've done your work. You'll have an ethics topic for each module, at least modules 1 to 5. So if you click on the discussion, some of them have links to articles or videos with questions, but you would click on reply for that topic. Some students may have already replied with something similar. I encourage you to, read what others have written and kind of make the discussion a conversation rather than a bunch of just individual messages. And then you'll have assignments and skills test. So with the assignments, of course, you'll click on the first one, I actually have a video. Most of them I do not, but you have a file with some instructions. For the first one, I have a screenshot as well to show you what the final product should look like. For Module 1, we don't have a test, but in Module 2, you have another set of tutorials, a file that you have to submit to accompany the tutorials. You have another ethics discussion, another assignment, but then you also have a test. So the test is something that has to be completed in a time setting. It's similar to the assignments and the tutorials in that you'll have a set of instructions, a file to download to get started, but then there'll be a timed Canvas test that has to be submitted within an hour. So make sure you save your work. It does submit automatically within the hour. If for some reason you're not able to submit it, you can always email it to me as a backup. So throughout the classes, you can see the modules we're going to be covering, building on what you learned in BAIS 120 or Info 120. So we're going to be learning about pivot tables and conditional formatting. We're going to be learning some Excel functions and simulation. And then we're going to get into some advanced Excel work with more complicated if functions and macros. And then we're going to be learning some computer programming, VBA coding. This will be the most, even though it isn't the longest part of the semester, it's going to be the most difficult. So make sure you devote enough time to learning this. Modules 5 and 6 will both include Access, which is a database tool. I assume that everybody has Excel, but some of you, especially if you're working on a Mac, may not have Access. So you have few different alternatives. You may go to a lab to do your Access work if you only have a Mac. Or we have a remote tool called the Virtual Lab. It's kind of a web-based version. It's a little slow. I don't really encourage you to use that, but it works if you need to. Um, if you do that, make sure you store your stuff before you log out because the files will disappear if you don't save them on a virtual location such as OneDrive. Um, the last assignment is going to be a Google assignment where you do a survey, as I mentioned, using Google Forms. So you will need a Google account. You will need a Google account anyway throughout the term to have an online meeting with me. I assume that some students won't really need to. Some of you will be able to get all your questions answered via email, um, just by emailing me and talking with you that way. I do think it's useful to have an online meeting via Google Hangouts. So kind of a FaceTime session where if you're having a problem or have a question, especially during this week where we're doing our VBA coding, I found that when I taught online in the past, students got a lot of value out of um, meeting with me interactively. So I would encourage you to do that. Email me and send me a file and say I'd like to meet with you on Google. Um, Either select a time during this Tuesday, Thursday time frame, or if you can't meet during those times, just suggest a time with me and we'll go back and forth and find a time to meet. So hopefully you have a pretty good idea of what to expect in the class. Um, just a couple notes. I recorded these videos without really thinking that I was going to teach the class multiple times. So sometimes a lot of the videos refer to like week 1 or week 2. So I use the term week 2 kind of synonymously with module 1 or module 2. So the class was originally designed to be a 6-week class, more intensive rather than spread out throughout the course of the semester. And I originally taught it in a summer. So some of the videos, I'm going to be updating the videos kind of throughout the term periodically, but they're all going to be kind of cosmetic. So if you do access something before I've updated and you see something like week 2, just know that means module 2. It may not literally mean the things are due the second. Everything is due on the last day of a module. So module 1, everything is due January 28th. Module 2, everything is due February 18th, and so on. So please email me if you have any questions about the syllabus or technical issues. Let me tell you just a little bit about myself. So this is what I look like. You'll get to see me if we do a Google Hangout. I hate the way I look in those things. So I got married last year to my wife Corey, who you see there on the left. We live in Covington with my stepson. I also have 2 kids that are, one is 18 and one is 23. And I also have a blended household. I've got a dog and a cat that I had prior to my marriage. My wife also has a dog and a cat. So we've kind of a blended animal household with 2 dogs and 2 cats. I live in Covington. A couple of my hobbies include basketball. I play basketball. I'm actually on a basketball team, a 50 and over league. It's kind of pathetic to watch, but we have fun with it. I also I go to all the Xavier basketball games. It's not the best season for that. You'll see some of my examples have to do with sports as well. So I'm happy to teach this class this semester. Hopefully you don't find the videos too boring, my voice a little too dry, but hopefully you get some value out of the class. I think online is a good way to learn this material because you're able to kind of pause and go back and learn things kind of at your own pace. One of the downsides of learning online is we don't really get to know each other as well. So I would encourage you in the discussion board, I have an introductory discussion on, I'd love for you to post out here to let me know who's in the class, like what your major is, what year you're in, where you're from, and something about you. And if you would attach a picture so other people, while they're seeing like your discussions or other people who are enrolled, just to see who all is put a face with the name. So anyway, I look forward to meeting with you online this semester. Um, Good luck in all your classes, and please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. Thank you.